Oh my God, can't even cope.
Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm so goddamn motherfucking excited because we are doing Bad Boyfriends Part 2, and I'm joined with
That too.
Ruby again, Part 2. I had so many more stories come in as well. And if I've learned anything from this whole experience, it's that we've all dealt with a bad motherfucker, right? Like we just have.
Exactly, right. And I actually think I'm a firm believer that really bad boyfriends make you appreciate really good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree with that more.
My last boyfriend was um, an abomination.
It really was. I know exactly what
Um,
it is too.
and now I've got this one. I'm like, oh my goodness, how did I ever put up with anything less than perfect?
I know, I know. I still am yet to come across that, but to be fair, I have definitely had some good boyfriends aside from all the bad
Yes.
ones.
And
Um,
your standards are higher.
that's so much higher because do you know what's funny? I've always been in a relationship. I've always been in
Yeah.
a relationship, and I am
And
single.
there's never much of a gap in between either.
No, so this will be the true test, and I feel like the universe is testing me to see if I'm actually happy with being alone and enjoying my own company because
Right.
I am actually single for the first time in a long time, and I think I'm going to stick with it for a while.
Not as bad as it sounds.
Nah, I actually enjoy my own company. I do.
I actually remember being annoyed when I met my partner now because I was like really enjoying being single
Yeah.
and I was in a really good place. I had a good job. I got my car, Gary, you remember the car?
Gary.
Um, I was really happy. And then I met this boyfriend. I was like, oh man, I was doing really well. I mean, obviously, I'm happy I got my partner,
Yeah.
but I was doing really well single. I really was liking it. It's not that bad.
And then he
Watched
came
whatever I
along and just
wanted,
ruined it for you.
ruined it.
Absolutely ruined it. And now you have a baby. Like
Now
your
I have a
life's ruined,
baby.
right?
I love it.
Okay, let's get into it. I have a couple of stories which I really want to share because I think they're some of them, okay, some of them I'm like they're a
Your
bit
stories?
what's that?
Your stories?
My stories.
Right.
So if you have
These
some,
are good.
absolutely we can go like story for story. But
I'm
I
all out. I'm all out of
yeah, you're
stories.
see, I still have so many to share. So some of them are kind of depressing. So I feel like we'll just get through the depressing ones first.
Oh,
Because there is a couple of really funny ones that there's one in particular, and
I
you
know
know what
which one.
I'm talking about. That I have to share. So I'll just share the first really depressing ones first.
Okay.
So
Yay.
the first one, and you'll know the story as well. So I was with a guy for a while. I don't know if you remember, but I used to call him Pirate because of the bandana, right? So
Yeah. He was not cool enough to be a pirate.
no, I know actually Pirate's cool. I think of like Jack Sparrow from like Pirates of the Caribbean. He definitely was not on that level. But
No.
I was with this guy for a while, and we lived together, and we drove each other's cars for a little bit. Like I had a cool Ute, and I can't even
I
remember.
remember that Ford you.
Yeah, the Ford Falcon,
That was
94 Ford Falcon
badass.
XG. It was like white, it was old school. Everyone thought it was my boyfriend's, but it was actually mine because I really liked it. Um,
That's how I met you. And I was like, oh my God, this chick is so cool. She has an old Ford Ute.
I know, and it was mine. So we were driving each other's cars for some reason. I can't remember why.
Romantic.
And then I was driving to work one day and I was going a little bit too fast around this corner that I go around every morning on my way to work. And I lost control of the car. Like it was going like all different directions, like this way, that way. The steering wheel was like doing its own thing. I just like let go. Like I was like, I've never been in that situation before. I just let go and let it do whatever it had to do. Did not try and like save myself.
I'm pretty
But
sure though that car wasn't warranted and registered.
oh, I don't think so. Like, let's be
No,
realistic.
the wheels were really bald.
Yeah, he was a bad boyfriend. His car was
Yeah.
probably
But
not
you drive in a car that's
legal.
so unsafe.
Exactly. Anyway, so I ended up on the other side of the road through the fence,
I
through a
remember.
paddock, and then I smashed the car against this bank wall. And no shit, all the glass and the windows were smashed. And I like the car just came to this sudden halt, and I was like, holy shit, like, am I okay? And I was like touching my body, and I was like, oh my God, am I alive? Like, am I
My
okay?
nose.
Yeah, like, is my perfect little nose okay? And there was like mud all through the car. There was mud all over me. There was mud in my handbag, like glass everywhere. It was crazy. Anyway, long story short, a couple of years later, I get a text message from him.
That's 2 years, just for
2
reference.
years
2 years later.
after we're like not together anymore. And also, I want to add to the story. At the time when it happened, he wasn't like to me you owe me money, like all the stuff. It was all good. We were fine. There was absolutely none
Yeah.
of that going on.
No
Um,
animosity.
yeah, none of that carry on. And so he messages me like 2 years later and I owe him $1,000 now for the car.
$1,000?
$1,000 for this car that I crashed
You
two
know, you
years
owe me
ago.
$1,000. You owe me $1,000.
And I
I'm traumatized.
just find it so funny because it's just because he was mad because I wasn't with him anymore and I didn't.
And it's not like he wanted $1,000 off you. He was harassing you. He was coming
Yeah,
around to your house. He was coming around to my house, being really quite scary.
yeah, he like
Um,
it wasn't like
wasn't, texting you, harassing you about this money from 2 years ago. And I think he was being quite generous, saying his car
it's
was worth
not
a
even
thousand
that
dollars.
not even that funny, but like it just makes me laugh at how fucked up men can behave sometimes when they like when their emotions are involved, like they just can't control themselves, they have no self-control. um
Actually, that's just reminded me of a story
yeah,
about the same person
yes, I was just going to
um,
say that.
at my house.
Yeah, you go
And
and say the
I went
story.
away for the night and I said, don't have any parties at my house, Kate. I just want to point out, I said, don't have any parties at my house. And I got a text in the morning from Kate saying, hey, I'm just letting you know, such and such smashed your house up. The cops came.
Oh shit.
Sorry.
Oh shit.
I thought you were joking. And I said, oh, you're so funny. And you're like, no, I'm serious. I'm like, oh, you're
Yeah,
so funny. You're
you
like,
were
no, I'm
not
really sorry.
happy.
And I came back and my nana's things had been smashed up. He'd smashed all my things up. And that wasn't even my boyfriend. That was your
I
boyfriend.
know, and he wasn't even my boyfriend at the time. Like it was a bad mistake that I let him come over. We were already broken
That
up,
was
I'm
like you
pretty
had a
sure.
party at my house, but carry on.
Okay, honestly, I just want to do like a disclaimer. So if you were in my life back when I was that person and I hurt you or upset you or did anything, I am so sorry, because honestly, when I hear some of the things that I did or the people that I upset and the drama that I caused, like I feel terrible.
To be
But
fair, we're
obviously,
still friends. I just kicked you
yeah,
out.
I know, yeah, you kicked me out, and fair call, fair call. But you know, I'm not that person anymore, and I have grown and have come so far. But
Right.
if you have been affected by my old behavior, I am very, very sorry.
It's okay. Hey, I'm not a fair weather friend.
No, I know, I know. Okay, actually, I would love you to share also that story. Same guy. This guy is going to be like the star of the show. He's going to love it. And I know he's going to listen to it too.
I
So, what about the time when, because I don't actually really remember this story. So, the time when he was
Oh, I know what
chasing
story you're talking
us in
about.
the car, yeah.
So I had decided that night to be sober driver for y'all.
Yeah.
It was you, a guy. So you and this fella hadn't been going out for, I'd say, a solid 2-3 months.
I don't
Or
even
am I
know who
being
it is.
generous? Anyway, so you had a new person you were seeing.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I'll be sober driver for you guys. You know, I think I was on antibiotics or something and I
Yeah.
didn't want to drink. And you showed up at my house and I was dead sober and you guys were drunk and tripping. And he got angry straight away and there was another guy there in a cow onesie and he chased him down the street with a spanner
Oh,
and then turned around and he was sort of yelling at you and then he finally left and then we thought let's go, let's get out of here. And we all jumped in the car and we're driving around town and he's following me behind me, but like he'll see me, then he'll go around another street and come out, so he's trying to look like he's accidentally just
yeah.
catching up with us.
Yeah.
But you guys were in the back, drunk and tripping, thinking it was hilarious, cracking up, laughing. I'm terrified on my learner's license.
Oh, shit.
Just having a panic attack. But that was guy.
Honestly, like it's so weird looking back and thinking, because I thought he was quite tame compared to the other ones that I had, but his behavior was still wild. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. He used to show up at my house sometimes. In the end, I had to call my dad.
Oh my God, honestly.
Remember, I called my dad. I was like, "Oh, we won't keep stop coming around."
Oh, so weird. So it's real like bipolar type stuff, eh? Like they're like real good and then
To
real
be fair,
bad. Real good.
I had really good conversations with him, and I thought he was really nice. And still, until he started behaving like that, I thought he's all right. He's quite intelligent. He was all right fella. But then he went nuts.
It was the drugs that fucked it all up for him. Anyway, okay, next story.
Can we just talk quickly because this story is hilarious. Same guy.
Yeah. Oh God.
I remember he went away for the night and asked a good friend of his
Oh,
to
right. Okay.
watch over
Okay.
you. And I'd
Guys.
like to talk about this because this goes to show to me that guys will do anything to get a little bit of, you know,
Yeah, to get a
they
little bit
don't
of
care if it's their best
naughty.
mates.
Yeah.
They don't care what. So I always remember this
Especially,
story because it's hilarious.
especially if they are on drugs, right?
Right.
So, okay, you guys are gonna die at this story. It doesn't even seem real. Okay, are
Needs
you
to be in
ready?
a movie.
Are you ready? So, I was living with this. I don't even. Were we even living together? I don't know. Anyway, no, I don't think I was. But anyway, I was staying with him, and he lived in this place, which was kind of like in the middle of nowhere. And I am terrified of the dark. Like I hate being alone in the dark in the middle of nowhere. Like that is just not what I love to do and or who I am. Anyway, so he was going away for the night, and I was like, I'm scared. Like I don't want to stay there and be on my. Anyway, he goes to me, okay, I'll get my friend to come over and stay the night so that you feel safe and comfortable. Lol. Fucking so ironic. But anyway, so he tells this guy to come over to keep me safe and protected and make me feel good. So I'm in bed and this place was kind of like a big open area that was like
It
transformed.
was a shed transformed into a house.
Yeah, and so there was basically just like the bedroom, which was just a bed and then a curtain rail with a curtain, and then there was like the lounge bits, so the couches and stuff. So he's on the couch, I'm in the bed, and I'm like trying to go to sleep, and then I hear this, Kate, Kate, and I'm like, I'm like, yeah, and he's like, can you come out here for a second? I'm like, okay, so I come out. There's this man, a fully grown adult man, lying on the couch. What?
He was in his 30s, I think.
At least, yeah,
Yeah.
like early 30s, mid 30s. He's lying on the couch, butt naked, butt fucking naked, with a headlamp on, okay, in the dark with the headlamp on. He's naked, and he is swinging his dick around like there is no tomorrow.
Like a helicopter.
Like a helicopter. He was honestly doing the helicopter.
Do you laugh? Do you cry? Do you?
I froze and I was like, I'm going to bed now. And I just went straight into bed. And I just remember sitting on the bed thinking, what the fuck am I going to do now? I'm alone with this man who's swinging his dick around in the lounge and he's supposed to be making me feel safe. And I was so shocked. And I remember being like, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, I'm sorry. All he could say was, I'm sorry. Like, sorry.
To be fair, that town that they're from always has the funniest characters.
Oh, such interesting characters.
Great story.
Speaking of that,
Love it.
I actually have another story from a guy that I was, honestly, it's something that I would love to erase from my memory for the rest of my life.
I know who we're talking about.
You do.
Instantly.
Of course you do.
Because do you remember I walked in on you?
Oh, yes.
I got my daughter to come visit you, and you were talking to me, and I sort of glanced to the right and saw him lying in the bed,
Oh.
and I looked back at you and I was, are you okay?
Mm.
Like, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, I'm gonna go now, and I walked off and I got halfway down the street before you rang when you were like, please don't tell anybody.
I
Please
know.
don't tell anybody.
That was like,
And I was like, no, I'm not going to tell anybody, but to be fair, I'd already called my best friend.
that was not my proudest moment. And I definitely, it was something I tried to hide from the rest of the world.
And I remember he went to jail.
Yeah.
And you guys are writing love letters back and forth to each other.
Uh,
And then after you ended it, it was a pretty short relationship. I remember you were freaking out that he was going to hold on to these letters until you got famous and then sort of release them, you know? Do you remember? I just got to get those letters, man, because when I'm famous, he's going to try sell them.
It's so embarrassing. That would be the most embarrassing thing in my life. I swear to God. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, this story is about him. So, I wouldn't even call it dating. It was just whatever the fuck it was. It was this thing.
It was boredom.
It was boredom. I was bored and I hated myself, clearly. And anyway, so I came to my senses really fucking fast and was like, I'm not going to see this dude anymore. So I was like, I'm not going to see you anymore. And he did that thing where some guys do, where he ugly cried, like hysterically ugly cried, and like on his hands and knees, like begging me not to go, like, please don't leave me. And I just think, okay, there is such a difference in a man fighting for his woman and a little bitch hysterically crying on the floor on his hands and knees like a coward And it
Yeah.
was so embarrassing. I just wanted to like run the fuck away. And I was thinking, do you think this is going to make me want to stay?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to talk to you, and I especially don't want to be there while this is happening.
No. And honestly, I also, he didn't go crazy afterwards, but I remember his mother would text you. She would comment on all your things.
Yeah.
You know, like she was sort of trying to, he was devastated, devastated about the old Kate mate breakup.
Oh, gosh. It's really funny. There's been a few times where there must just be people that kind of look like him, because there's been a few times where I've legit thought that I've seen him and I'm like, oh fuck, and I'm like, oh my god, like please don't see me, please don't try and talk to me.
Ugh.
Not be a good time.
You know, that was a phase we can delete.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I even stopped hanging out with you for a little bit. I was like, oh, I don't hang out with
I
you.
know, honestly, I don't blame people. I am so embarrassed. That was a really, really bad. I mean, I've made some bad decisions in my life, but that was
When
like,
you've got low self-esteem though, even if it's a little
yeah,
geeky dude that's, you know, whatever, not
yeah,
that there's anything wrong with geeks, but you know, sometimes you just want to feel good about yourself, and people like that, when they worship you,
yeah.
makes you
I
feel
know.
better. It's not a
Yeah,
good thing, but it's,
exactly. But you know, like you said before, you live and you learn, and I have definitely raised my standards, and I know my self-worth now. There is no way you'd catch me with people like that. But
I also want to point out something I think that's cool that you do, because you've had some super crazy partners.
mhm.
I like how you always, no matter what, will always sit down and break up with someone.
Yeah,
You never text them. You never
no,
just be like, Buddha, it's over. You'll always sit down and explain to them that you're
yeah.
breaking
Well,
up.
at least try to.
Yeah,
It
while you're
doesn't
running
always
down the
go.
road. You're
Yeah,
chasing me.
yeah. It doesn't always go well, but I always,
But you do always try and do that.
yeah. It's just like I don't know. Like as fucked up as my life has been, and you know, as fucked up as I was, I just always tried to have some level of like
Respect.
respect for other people. Like I've always had a genuine like. I always see the good in other people, and even though they were motherfuckers, I still knew that deep down there was like a part of them that was good, and I just would want to like leave it on good terms.
Can I just mention something? So this isn't a bad boyfriend, but this is a guy that wanted to hook up with you.
Yeah.
And I think you may have even kissed once at a party, but do you remember we're having that housewarming? And this guy was so into you. But you'd sort of had enough drinks now that there were like better people around. I can't remember what it was. But you went into the bedroom to get something, and he came in after you and he was like, come on, Kate, come on, let's
Yes.
just do it. And you
Oh
were
my
like,
god.
no, I'm not into it, man. I don't want to do it. And he goes, come on, it'll be quick. Like that was a pickup line. Like that was, oh, it'll be quick. Let's do it. And then he passed out, face down, ass up on your bed, and stayed like that. And I think you slept in my room.
I know. I was going to say that's what I remember. I remember him passing out like that. It was so embarrassing. He literally tried to like pin me against a wall, and I was like, "Fuck off!"
Yeah,
And what kind of pickup line is that? It'll be quick.
hilarious.
I forgot all about that. Also, I just remembered another story from that house. Do you remember? And I'm definitely not going to like name names. Do you remember that band?
Oh my God.
And I
I
hooked
do
up with the
remember that
drummer.
band. I think they were on like New Zealand Idol or something like that, and we saw them at the pub,
I know.
and
I hooked up with the drummer.
yeah, I remember you hooked up with the drummer, and then the lead singer was sort of into him. I wasn't into him
Yeah.
at all,
Yeah.
but I was like, yeah, let's go back and have a drink at my house. And then we got back to my house, and I just went to bed and shut the door and just left him out there. So, I'm a good wingman. And I remember in the morning we woke up because we could hear them whispering,
Yeah.
and they were outside the door whispering because we didn't realize that the drummer had a girlfriend.
I know. That was.
And they were
I was like,
whispering a
oh.
cover story about what they were going to say they were doing and where they had been.
Yeah. And
Fucking pigs.
yeah, I know. I was like,
Not
what?
bad for that chick, even though she
Because-
was mean to us.
Especially because like me and that guy had such a good night. Like I remember we went to the beach and we were drinking tequila and making out. It was actually really fun.
I don't remember that. I must have been asleep in my bed
No,
with the door
it
shut.
was just me and him at that point.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. And I was like, damn it, what an asshole. But it was also funny because then later, like months down the track, he was on Jono and Ben on the radio, and they asked him if he'd ever like hooked up with a celeb or like something like that. And then he was like, oh, Kate, mate, from Bogans. I was like, oh my God. Fucking
I remember that. But if he was still going out with that girl, she must have put two and two together and realized he cheated on her.
Surely.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
But if there was an episode called Bad Girlfriends, I just want to give a little bit of a admittance of something bad I did once.
Yeah.
I had this boyfriend who was my first proper boyfriend.
Mhm.
And after about 2 months, I didn't really like him, but because I'd never had a boyfriend before, I didn't know how to break up with him. So I tried to
Yeah.
be mean, you know, like I tried to
Yeah. Like
self-sabotage.
self-sabotage. Yeah.
I tried to convince him to sort of cheat on me. I was like, I don't care if you hook up with that chick, you know, like still wasn't working, and I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And in the end, this is so bad. In the end, I said, let's save all our money up. You go down to this town. I'll save my money up and give notice in at my job, and then when I finish, I'll buy a van and drive up. And he was like, that's great. And he moved there. And then I messaged him and said, yeah, I'm not coming.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
But I didn't know what else to do because
That
I
is
didn't
so
know
terrible.
how to, I didn't know how to break up with people.
Bad girlfriend.
Bad girlfriend.
Um, I
But
definitely
we've
have
made
not.
peace since then. We've messaged and we apologize and it's fine.
Excuse me, I'm just burping.
Had too much wine.
I, what I don't normally drink, guys. Just having a red wine. Thought I would do it for you guys, but I
Get through
have
this trauma.
I have not always been the best girlfriend, like at all. But I am always growing. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to be better than I was the day before. And like at the end of the day, if you are only in competition with yourself and you're only trying to be better than the person that you were yesterday, like that is all you can do. And as long as you're doing your best, like that's all anyone can ever ask of you. So I just want to remind
Everybody
you.
fucks up.
Exactly. Like I want to remind you that like you're not your past, you're not your mistakes. You're not, you know, all the bad shit that you did in your past. Like every day is a clean slate, and you know, you can even change your beliefs and you can change your opinions, and it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah,
you know if you're a good person, and that's all that matters, really, right?
exactly.
Um, okay. I just want to share a couple of like really shitty stories, just because the reason why I like to share stuff like this is like I don't like to relive it, and it really feels weird even when I talk about it now. But I know that there's people that are in situations like this right now.
Right.
And I want you to know that even if it feels hard and even if it feels scary and you don't know how to leave or you've tried to leave and you keep going back, because I went back to this guy that
And
I'm
why
about.
do you? It's really weird because I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
I've broken up with them. I don't like them. I don't even want to be with them, but I just don't want to be alone.
I think it's
Or I
like,
think
yeah,
that no one else is going to want,
yeah,
you know.
that's it. They like classic narcissists will like manipulate you into thinking that there's no one out there that's going to love you like they do. Like no one will ever love you the way that they do, and like if you leave, then you know no one's ever going to give that to you or love you or accept you. And it's weird. It's a weird fucking mind game that they play. And
Right.
you know, when you're out of it, it's like, oh my fucking God, like I was so brainwashed. But when you're in it, that's a different fucking story. And it's really hard to see. It's easy for people to say, why don't you just fucking leave him? Or, you know,
I
what the
hate when
fuck?
people say that.
You just don't know unless you're in that situation, like what it's truly like. So I want to share these stories with you. And I want to also let you know I have been with guys that have been amazing and that, you know, didn't lay a finger on me and weren't violent and weren't mentally abusive, and they were actually really good guys. And so you can come out of this and you can heal all those fucking parts of you that you feel like are broken or you feel like you need to fix. I also want to remind you, you're not fucking broken and you don't need to be fixed.
Right. You're not
But
broken, just bent.
you're just bent. We're all just a little bit bent, aren't we? But life
These
can
eggs are
change.
slightly cracked.
I like to call myself a scrambled eggy. But you
I
can,
was like, am I poached? I don't know.
I don't know, cracked, you're a cracked egg, a poached egg, a boiled egg, a boiled egg. But
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to share these stories with you, and just know that there is always a way out, and you know, life can change so fast. And your life is meant to be amazing. So don't ever give up hope, because I promise you, what's on the other side of all that bullshit is magical. So this one time I was with this guy, this was the craziest guy I was ever with, like literally the scariest. I still look over my shoulder sometimes and still would hate to ever see him around. Like it just gives me the shit. So one time he held a knife. We were in the car and he held a knife to my throat and was like, you have to drive me. I was really good friends with this guy. Like he was one of my best friends, not the guy that I was with, a different guy. And my partner at the time held a knife to my throat, and he like made me tell him where my friend lived and reckoned he was going to go over there and like tell him what's up or whatever. I don't know. But he had a knife held to my throat, so I didn't know what else to do apart from tell him where the address was. So like we went there. He went in. I still don't know what happened, but like he didn't actually go in there and do anything. Thank fuck for that. I think he just went in there and was like, don't speak to Kate ever again. And, you know, that was one of many moments where I wondered if like this was it. Like, is this the moment where I am going to die? Like, is this going to be my story of my life?
Yeah.
Like, I got killed by a man. Like, it's just, it's.
And New Zealand has one of the highest rates of domestic violence, and you know, in the world,
Yeah.
like by numbers, you know, because when I've had friends, and I think I even said this to you when person was coming around and harassing, and my dad said to me,
Yeah.
I said, oh, he's just being a dick, and Dad said, they're always a dick until they're not, until a girl opens the door and he stabs them to death. He said, you don't play around with this kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And also the scary thing is a lot of the time is like you can't get help from police and stuff unless something actually happens. And
I know.
that
I remember because you wanted to get a restraining order and they were trying to charge you money to get it because nothing had happened yet.
Yeah. So
you're like, but I'm showing you messages where he's saying he's going to shoot me and cut my nose off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but you're not going to give me this unless I pay $1,000 for this restraining order or he does something. Like, that was crazy to me.
It's just wild. It's wild. So it can be scary. But so that happened. And then the second story I'm going to tell you about is same guy. So this is the guy from my other story with the tattoos and the swastika.
Yeah, I was going to say
that guy. So I was at my mum's house and I always used to see him. Like he'd drive by. I was at my mum's like during the washing and
she has like a little cul-de-sac too, doesn't she? Like it's a dead-end street. Yeah.
So he would like do the drive-bys. Anyway, I was driving home one day and he obviously was following me and he like signaled for me to pull over. And I pulled over and he told me to get in the car, like in his car, so that he could talk to me. Me being super, super, you know, brainwashed and just like in this place. I got in the car and then he drove off, like he took off and he was so psychotic, like he was punching the dashboard. He threw my phone out the window. And that was like my only contact to like my mum and my family and like anyone that was left in my life at that point. And so I was like, holy shit, like I'm fully fucked now. And he was driving around real erratic and saying all this crazy shit. And then he was like, I am going to drive you to the back of the farm right now and I'm going to shoot you in the back of the head and no one is ever going to fucking find you.
Were you broken up with him or was this just a fight?
No, we were still together at this point. And like it was over.
And I think this is like, where's their brain in this moment? Are they thinking this will make her love me more? Are they thinking if I scare her, she's not going to leave? Like, why do men do this and be scary and scare someone that they're supposed to love and think that that is going to make them stay?
I have no idea. Like, I still don't really know. I guess it's just like, I don't know. Their chemicals aren't wired properly in their brain. I have no idea.
Like, or was that just him?
No, like he was, I mean, he was definitely on drugs, which obviously doesn't help. And I think he was a lot more, this sounds really weird, but at the time, I didn't think he was crazy. I think he was a lot more crazy than I ever thought at the beginning. So it was like so hard for me to kind of like wrap my head around it.
Yeah. And you thought you loved him?
Yeah. I know. And I thought no one else would love me either, which is just freaking crazy because I've had some incredible guys like, you know, in the last couple of years. And I'm so grateful also to have had those experiences because now I know what like actual real love is and like what being treated really good is like. So I'll never, ever go back to anything like that.
No.
Okay, so now that is out of the way, all that depressing stuff, I want to share real quickly, just before we're just going to wrap it up, but I just want to share a couple of stories real quick from people that you guys have sent in because these are really funny. So, well, not some of them aren't funny to be fair, but
look back and laugh.
Okay, so number one, I'm just going to read through them real fast. So, boy had 2 cell phones, and she caught him out talking and meeting up with other girls, like through this other phone.
The dedication, eh?
I know, like it's like, okay, this is what I don't understand about cheaters.
The dedication.
Yeah, like people that go to this much effort. Why don't you just be single? Is it because like do they get a thrill out of like
so in my mind, I think because I've met guys sort of like that, not that are my boyfriends, but friends, you know, and I think in their warped mind, they love that person and they want to be with that person, but they want to fuck other chicks too. Yeah. And the chicks that they fuck, they don't like, they probably treat like shit, they don't text back, they're horrible, but they love that person.
Yeah.
In my mind,
that's probably the most like logical explanation. Like obviously it's fucking stupid and like get a fucking but that's probably why. Like, but I just and a lot of people like
still carry on with that person for years.
Yeah.
Even though they've been caught, I fucking love you, you know.
I used to be, okay, do you remember my friend that I used to be friends with for a very long time? and he used to fucking cheat on his girlfriends all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm like, why do you do that? Like, dude, stop. Like, it's just I just don't get it, and I had to stop being friends with him because I'm like, you're a horrible person.
That was his girlfriend's
He
girlfriend,
does.
but he did all that. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
Weird
Okay,
mentality.
2 more real quick. Told me to stop crying. Okay, this one's fucking horrible, but also you're like this guy, like, obviously delusional. Told me to stop crying after my mum died, because he was hungry and I needed to drive him to McDonald's.
You know, I mean,
That's wild, right?
I have a similar story to that.
my God,
My grandfather passed away, and I lived in Australia at the time, and he passed away while I was there, and I wasn't expecting him to pass away, so I extended my trip a week, and I rang him up and said, I'm extending my trip a week. My papa died, and he went, "You're so selfish. You know,
What?
I want you, your ticket was booked. Why are you not coming back?" And I just thought, oh my God, that was actually the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah.
When I'm sorry, I'm sorry, my papa died.
Yeah, like I didn't mean for it to
So
happen.
I can sort of, yeah, that's a narcissist.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like
It's not about him,
yeah, it's all
so
about
he doesn't care.
yeah.
It's
It's
horrible.
wild. Okay. I'm sorry that happened to you, by the way, because
Yeah, so sorry. I hope you did not drive and get him McDonald's.
yeah, I fucking hope not.
And if you did, I hope I would get myself a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself
That's horrible. Horrible.
so
Sorry.
horrible, so horrible. Okay, so lucky last. I saved this one for last because I actually just think it's kind of funny, and I'm like, what the hell? So this is a friend of mine, and this happened actually recently. So like in the last like couple of
Well,
weeks.
this is you know the story. Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
I know this girl, she's like a good friend of mine. So I'm gonna read you like what she sent me because I was like, just send me some messages and tell me exactly what went down because I think it's funny. So first of all, I just want to point out as well, like the way that these two met. This isn't a bad boyfriend story. This is just like a kind of like a dating like hookup story. So he sent her a pickup line, and the pickup line was so he sent her 2 basketball emojis.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Whoops, I was playing with my balls and they ended up in your DMs. What's up?" First of all,
That's funny. I would probably message back.
okay, true. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're the dumbass.
I would have a laugh. I would message back.
And
I
anyway,
like a good cheesy pickup line.
yeah, and she obviously did as well because she took the bait. So that was the pickup line. And then anyway, so she catches up with this guy, and anyway, long story short, they're like doing the dirty. So this is what she said. She said he was going down on me and I needed a break. So I moved away, and he said, "Come back here, you bitch." And then later on, while we were doing the dance, he called me a good girl. Just want to put it out there. I don't like getting called a good girl either. Like I don't like. I mean, bitch. Like I probably
Happened to
tolerate
me, and it's such a fanny cringe.
yeah, and like I have like old ladies will be like, "Oh, you're a good girl," you know what I mean? It's like I don't want a man to call me a fucking good girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he called her good girl, and then she told him like, "Don't call me those fucking things. Like just don't." Like she stopped him like mid thing and was like, "Don't." And
I'm so shy. I just shut up, and I think I like wait for it to be over.
oh, sad. It's so sad. I feel like so many people do that. But he said that
God, I just thought, oh my God, we'll talk about that one another time. It's
okay. He said that bitch and good girl are the names that he uses on women in bed. Okay, and yeah, I'm like, cool. Well, thanks for letting me know. That's awesome of you.
Plural, I see.
She told him not to call her either of those things, and he legit got upset. And then he was like, "I don't know what to call you then."
Oh, her name?
I know, like, how about like baby or babe or
God.
you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
awful.
But anyway, so I just thought that was real funny. But I also thought the pickup line was funny. Like I was just playing with my balls.
I like a good cheesy pickup line.
Yeah, okay, I don't. So
I think it's funny because I like to laugh.
Yeah.
I'm always a sucker for something funny. So, you know, I always, you know, there's that classic one that they always say, "Hey, how much does a polar bear weigh?"
I don't know.
Enough to break the ice. Hi,
that's a good one. Oh,
I love cheesy pickup lines.
I don't know any. Do you know any others?
Remind me of my coffee table. I'm going to be banging. Oh no, damn it, I got it wrong. Okay.
Oh,
You remind me of my little toe. I'm going to be banging you on my coffee table later.
actually, I just thought of one. Do you work at Subway? Because you just gave me a foot long.
Ugh.
Uh,
Comforter. That's not funny. That's puke.
Okay, I'm
There's
obviously
so many good ones. There's
I'm
so
not
many good
I'm not
ones.
the good pickup line.
Oh, I know some real gross ones too, but I know so many.
We might even have to do a part 3 one day. Jesus.
I think so. I think so because I've
Yeah.
just thought of some super funny stories. I have to like put a black censor thing over my eyes though, so people don't know who I am.
Yeah, because that'll work. Yeah. All right. Love you guys so much. Thanks, Ruby. I love chatting with you. I've had so many people message in as well and just say like, you guys have the best like yarns and the best flow. And I think we really do. So I love talking about this stuff, and
I just want to say too, at the end of this, we'll be putting up a number. If you are in a situation where you think you can't get out in a domestic violence situation, there is help, and we're going to pop up a number for you.
Yeah, there is always help out there. And you know, no matter how alone you feel, I promise you, you are not alone. And there are so many people out there who are either in the same situation or have been through what you have been through and overcome it as well. So just know, and my inbox is always open as well. Like literally message me anytime. Like I'm so here for it. But love you guys so much. Can't even cope. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. Cheers to us. And I'll see you.
No cheers to the bad boyfriends.
And no cheers to the bad boyfriends. Bye, guys. Love you.
Yeah.